안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕코입니다. 여러분들이 또 믿지 못할 얘기를 하나 해드리면, 아침에 일어나서 지금 11시거든요. 11시. 아침에 일어나서 아침밥 먹고요, 턱걸이 했습니다. 무려 4세트. 놀랍죠? 네, 놀랍습니다. 역시 출근을 안 하면 힘이 넘쳐요. 쉬면은 힘이 넘칩니다. 이제 오늘부터 야간 근무예요. 오늘 출근을 해야 되는데, 아마 내일부터는 진짜 거의 쓰러져가는 모습으로 운동을 하겠죠. 그래서 일단은 스쿼트 위주로 하고요. 네, 진짜 햇살이, 봄 햇살이 진짜 정말 봄이에요, 여러분. 햇살 느껴지십니까? 이 햇살. 스쿼트랑 복근 운동 위주로 하겠습니다. 스트레칭은 좀 더 해야겠어요. 일단 CNN을 보도록 하겠습니다.
To switch off. Work seems to be a never-ending process from the moment we wake up to when we go to bed. In addition, some of us are making the most of the time, learning a language and the like. What have I been up to try and improve things? You're working and living and working and living with your spouse. And finally, our working from homers who join me for lunch. WFH, working from home, the new reality. Right. The one thing that's become clear is many of us are finding difficulty knowing how and when to switch off. The working day goes from socks on to socks off. It's so easy to see how this has happened when you can just pop next door into the office and get on with that report that just needed finessing. And maybe make a couple of calls. Oh, just an email or two. I promise you, I'll be there for dinner in a minute. The minute never happens.
You need to make yourself a priority.
The career coach Elizabeth Karaka to the rescue. I've done nothing. I mean, not only have I done nothing but work and stress, now I'm feeling guilty that I haven't done anything.
I want you to make a list. What are all the things that are really working for me from working at home? Then what is not working for me? These are the things on my list I need to change. If you do not have them in your mind, it's going to be tornado brain. You need to have it on paper and then start to pinpoint. What is driving you the most crazy? What are you most frustrated?
The one thing people are writing to me about more than anything else is that the day is never ending now they're working from home.
You need to end the day for yourself. Ask yourself, do I actually have to send this email at 8 o'clock at night? Because if I do, what could happen is that back and forth for another hour, and there goes that downtime of that hobby you wanted to try.
There's no shortage of ideas on what I could do with any spare time. A quick online search provides me 50 life skills or 5 ways to advance my career during COVID. And there's always free classes to take up a hobby. There are people like my colleague Earl Nurse who are taking the opportunity to learn a new skill.
This DJ controller is something my dad gave me last year before he passed, and I had it in a box for the longest. But since I've been stuck at home, it gave me a reason to crack it open and figure out how it works. I used to DJ back in the days, but I did it the old school way, with the turntables, crates of records. So it's been fun to learn this new digital way.
It's a joyful thing to hear the ukulele.
Greg Barrett, who works in education, is learning the ukulele, and his tutor is his wife.
I guess with the extra commuting time that I'm not spending on the road, we just had something fun that we could do together.
Does that take you away from the crisis?
Yeah, in a way, it's something that takes your focus onto something completely different, and also music has that transporting power to just make you think and feel different things from where you really are.
Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4.
What do you actually love doing? Is it yoga? Is it like a boxing class you can do? Because you need to make yourself the #1 priority, because if you don't and the gas tank is empty, there's nothing to give. So try not to let yourself get there.
You know what fills my tank? No, good movie this. A late night snack. And I don't mean any snack. Captain Crunch is what's required. All right, Captain. I know, I should be social distancing, shouldn't I? Now, what was I supposed to... Oh, yes! All that shutting off and shutting down. But I'll shut up. Suddenly, I have spotted something I can do. My orchids. They're looking a bit sad and they need repotting. Now's the time to get to grips. All right, pot away. Right, here we go. You're supposed to repot them every year or so. And now time to get their hands dirty. Literally. I'll be honest, I don't have much hope for this one. First look at it. Take some moss, wrap it round the roots. Oh, look at that. Plants duly repotted. Now, let's hope for the rest of them. Will they survive my repotting? I'm not the first person, and I won't be the last to admit it's all got a bit much sometimes. Being on your own, or just simply the weight of what's happening, is giving us all some real pause for thought, and in some cases making us feel quite down. We need some professional guidance.
We have to create moments in our lives where we can fall apart, and we have to create moments in our lives where we connect to other people around what we're going through.
Is it okay to burst into tears for seemingly no reason, as has happened to me? On a couple of occasions, I've just sat down, had a cup of tea and burst into tears.
I think you have to release some of that emotion and energy. I think it's perfectly normal for where we are right now.
For the person who's saying now, I can't cope.
To the large group of people who I think are feeling that, I want to, reinforce that actually you are coping, and you will. And all of humanity has rolled through these moments in time, and to take your courage from wherever you get it. Some people take courage from their own experience of resilience. Some people take courage from watching other people, and some take it from their faith.
I have an entire list of things that I intended to do. They've been there for the last 3 weeks. Now, it's not even procrastination, it's worse than that. It's paralysis.
So I think some of it is the emotional, I don't want to live in that new reality, so as long as I don't look at that, I don't have to. The other thing you're talking about is motivation. Are you motivated by social connection?
Even if you pick up your device, it's going to have a work email because it's a work device.
Keep in mind we were bad at this before this problem, right? People were always on their devices. Now screen time equals work time, and you have to make screen-free time. In whether you put them all in a box, whether you turn off your internet, whether you sit outside on your front porch and leave your stuff inside, you have to create moments where you're not connected to your screens, because screens are connected to work.
Working and living in the same space is one thing.
It's just you, me, and me.
Now imagine your office mate is also your spouse. Cooped up couples.
Dashing away the smoothing iron.
Meanwhile, I have a go at switching off.
issues of health and nutrition, education, and economic empowerment. The Aliko Dangote Foundation is the largest private foundation in sub-Saharan Africa. Aliko Dangote Foundation, setting Africans up for success.
In lockdown, isolation, or in quarantine, the world is uniting, briefly opening their windows and doors and honouring their healthcare heroes. The thousands of men and women around the world putting their health and their lives on the line for all of us. The tributes have been global, from Spain, where the medical staff came out to welcome the recognition, to Italy, France, and right around the world.
Dashing away with the smoothing iron, dashing away with the smoothing iron.
I'm still working on finding my peace, my downtime.
힘들어.
Something to force my hand, to compel me to switch off from work. It's a few years since I last ironed any large number of shirts. And I guess I really wouldn't have to do it every day. But it's quite therapeutic.
Dashing away with the smoothing iron, dashing.
What's that song? My mother used to sing it. She was doing the ironing. Dashing away with the smoothing iron. Oh, my heart away. There's the organ around the shoulders. It gets you, isn't it? Now the collar. The great part about ironing for television is that actually you only really see the front bit. So all that nasty bit at the back and over the shoulders, no one can tell. I know, the job's worth doing. I've been working from home on my own. Well, except when Chris comes over to help with the camera work, but even that's now stopped since I've been diagnosed positive coronavirus. Instead, many of you have been working 24/7 with your spouses, partners, and not surprisingly, it's caused tensions. But there are some solutions. Maintaining relationships can be tough at the best of times. Now, imagine doing it when you're living together and working from an apartment the size of 3 parking spaces. In Hong Kong, that's almost the size of the average home. Tech executive Jodie Chan and the restaurateur Mei Chow have it better than most in their slightly larger 500 square foot apartment. Finding quiet space is challenging.
He has a wonderfully resounding voice, as do I on occasion. So when we both have work calls, we have to definitely find ourselves in different rooms.
Because we don't have home office, so it's like, because I'm also small, so I'm like the bedroom.
Meditation.
Back to career coach Elizabeth Karaka, who has advice for cooped up couples. What would you recommend when you're both holed up in a 1-bed apartment?
You have to tag team with your spouse or your partner. You got to be in it together, because if you're at each other, you're not going to make it, right? Someone's getting a turn in the bedroom for their own downtime.
So, whose work takes priority? In an ideal world, you're going to tell me equal, everybody's equal.
You have to have open dialogue. So having that conversation, not in the heat of the moment when everybody starts screaming and it all hits the fan. It's when you're feeling more calm.
Jodie and May managed to carve out their own spaces, even with limited room.
Sometimes we work together at the back, like here, or like right behind us is the couch, and so we like literally face each other working.
They also stay mindful of each other's plans and make sure to take time to unwind. A slower pace of life has encouraged them to be creative.
Now she made a coronavirus song.
It's true. We have a coronavirus song.
They even staged a performance in their bathroom.
It's just kind of sharing little joys in little spaces.
A couple finding relief from boredom and discovering new ways to enjoy every inch of their home sweet home. Couples have at least one advantage: each other's company. Today, my social connection is a lunch meeting with working from home viewers from around the world. Thank you for joining me for lunch. I'm afraid I'm very unimaginative today. It's just a chicken salad with some balsamic vinaigrette. Not very original today. Amanda, what have you got? What time of the day have you got?
Okay, so it's 7 o'clock here in Johannesburg, so I've got some sushi which I'm protecting from the cat because Dickens likes it too, and I've got a glass of South African Sauvignon Blanc.
Oops. Oh, good Lord, that's got all over me. But that didn't take long, did it? Craig, where are you and what are you enjoying?
It's 3 a.m. here in Australia, and I'm enjoying some birchy muesli.
Look at that. WFH, working from home. Brian, where are you?
I'm in Bogota, Colombia, and it's 12 o'clock. So that's good. I'm not having a nice snack like Greg, but I'm taking a chance and having spaghetti on TV. We'll see how that goes.
Shakir, where are you?
Dubai. It's just past 9 p.m. here, and the Arabian favorite, falafel and kebabs. You can see that here.
What's your biggest challenge been, Craig? Start with you, working from home.
The biggest challenge for me has been trying to stay organised and trying to keep the company moving while you're in a home environment. I think when you go to an office, you get yourself into that mindset of actually going to work. Everyone in the organisation is expecting you to say, to be the boss or to come out with announcements and direction for the organisation. But here we are, we're sitting at home, we're sitting in our lounge rooms, we're probably more casually dressed. And so that adjustment process has taken some time.
Sure, Amanda, absolutely it's taken time to get into the mentality. How have you coped?
Coping more with the, failing the lockdown, you've got talent. I get emails often from friends. You've been on lockdown 25 days, you haven't learned to code, you haven't written a book, you can't speak another language yet. And it's like, no, but I'm working.
Shakira, how are you switching off?
Switching off, unfortunately, you really just can't switch off. That is my problem. There's a very thin line I see between working, office hours, personal time, me time. It all just merges into each other's.
I wonder, if you had to say, everybody says that things will never go back to as they were. Is that true?
I believe this has brought forward a change process where people believe now that actually it is acceptable to work from home. You can be productive and you can get work done.
So what's the one tip, the number one tip you will give to fellow WFHers around the world about switching off or about learning a language? Although so far of us lot, only Brian's actually done anything and actually learned the guitar.
One thing I think is just turn the computer off when you can. We tell it to our kids, because they're taking classes online all day. And, we put in breaks, and that's good advice for everyone. I mean, just stop staring at your phone, stop staring at your computer, get outside.
Amanda.
Yeah, I think people just need to relax a bit. Just take a breath. It's going to be okay. Things are going to go wrong sometimes, and that's normal. And yeah, I started turning off my Wi-Fi every night at 8 o'clock and reading a book.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. Peace.
Bye. Bye.
Would you like to be one of those who join us for a WFH lunch to talk about how we're all getting on? Well, it's easy. Just email me, richard.quest@cnn.com. The leaves of spring sprouting for the new season. Renewal in a time of great distress. Maybe, just maybe, there's a message here. This could be time to take stock of our lives and careers.
There, another shot.
21분.
And the processes I recommend.
요거 10개만 들고 오늘 옷도 끝내겠습니다.
In the summer, I come to the roof of the apartment block and I sit and write my diary. There's plenty